What can you tell us about Jeffrey Berman's testimony? He was the former U.S. attorney in Manhattan who gave closed-door testimony to the Judiciary Committee, where he described for you, I guess in some detail, how he was ousted from that job by Attorney General William Barr.
Well, I was very impressed. I went to be there in person for the interview, the transcribed interview, which I believe has been released. So you've had the chance to take a look at it. I was impressed by two things. Number one, it was proof of Barr's bungled firing of Mr. Berman on a Friday night on June the 19th. One more Friday night attempt to take somebody out who might be of damage to this president, who might actually be investigating the corruption of an administration like we've never seen before. So on the one side, you saw and heard the very palpable evidence of Barr trying to entice Mr. Berman to resign from his position. He was having nothing of it, and that's what he said to us in great earnestness. He limited his testimony, you will see from the transcription, to just those couple of days. He made no attempt, Mr. Berman that is, to identify the motivation of AG Barr. But we do know that what he was worried about was if he got fired and then they replaced him, or they asked him to resign, actually, and they replaced him with some outsider, there'd be a disruption and delay in the important investigations, some of them including this administration's corruption. So Mr. Berman got the better of that and would not have that happen. And his first deputy now stands in his place. We saw a man of great honor, of no political, he's a Republican, I believe, in his past, appointed as a Republican, but he showed no politics, no fear, no favor. He just wanted to do his job and protect the investigations.
I have been in awe of how he played those 24 hours and somehow got to install the successor that he wanted in that position instead of the person that that Attorney General Barr and Donald Trump wanted. Did he explain to you how he managed to make that happen?
Well, it was interesting because he ran through the scenario. There was a lunch at the Pierre Hotel on Friday, the 19th, whereas Mr. Berman said there were sandwiches and nobody ate lunch, where AG Barr tried to entice him, was the word he used, entice him to resign. Maybe you'd consider, he suggested, being chief of the civil division. It'd be a great plum for your resume. And Mr. Berman said, no, of course not. I love my work. I really like the work with my colleagues, and we have important investigations to complete. They had agreed to speak later in the day. They spoke apparently at 7 p.m. And at that point, AG Barr asked him, well, maybe you'd like to be chair of the SEC. If you remember, Mr. Clayton, the chairman of SEC, was also in front of my other committee, a bizarre set of circumstances in front of the financial services. And again, Mr. Berman said, no, let's speak on Monday. AG Barr said, no, we'll speak tomorrow. But instead, of course, at 9:15 at night, the Attorney General put out a press release misleading the American public for about the 15th time that I can even think of, telling the American public that Berman had resigned, and he didn't. Mr. Berman got the better of that corruption by this Attorney General.